Good morning, everybody. We'll let everybody funnel in here, and then we'll go from there. And just to begin, so just let me just get this link out to a couple different places, and then we will begin. What's really important is that we just focus on not only what happened yesterday, but we're going to focus a lot on what transpired. And I really just want to go through some indexes and some of the things that could be key issues for us. So let's just save this, and let me get this link, and I'm going to pop this link in a couple places, then we'll begin. All right. And one more place. Everybody has their coffee. I know I do. Good morning. Let me just drop this one more place, and I'm done. All right, good. I wish there was a way to set this up ahead of time. Let's not waste people's time. All right, so let's get into this. Good morning, boss. Good morning, Jared. Good morning, Boca. Welcome to my world, Boca. That's how I am every day. So let's just go through a couple things really quickly. I just want people to understand what they have to really be looking at here. Okay, this is really kind of important, and I just want to point this out. Okay, this is what happened. Let's just go through this. Okay, this is what happened yesterday. All right, and what you're seeing here is this trend line. Okay, and this is where you're at. Okay, on the trend line. Okay, this is what we did so far today. Ran up to the trend line and rejected, and then off the opening of futures, we are now down. All right. So as far as getting a warm and fuzzy feeling for the bidding up, we've already given back half the gains. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to continue. Nobody knows. What I am saying is that this is not the opening that you want. Okay. So what to do now is understand that you didn't want to open up. You wanted to open down, flush everybody out, and then go higher. That's not what happened. So you really need to watch this line, and you may want to draw this line on the cues for yourself today, because this right here, flipping this, is the very first thing that we must do in order to regain this. Okay. So other than that, I'll just start taking questions, but that's really important for people to understand. Yeah, let's do Tesla. So let's do Tesla because I'm getting a lot of requests for it, and I've been so for me, like, if you're in the newsletter, you're part of the community, you know that these are our entry points. Okay, we move the stop up. This is no great secret where the stop should be, right? It's not rocket science, right? Here's your issue. As the market goes, so does Tesla, right? And just in its own little way. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to watch and see how this goes. Now, right now, we just have a day where we've opened up, right? And now we're coming back, kind of trying to come back down. Now, for me, I don't really want to be a buyer here, right? I'm in the middle, okay? So if I got over this level that we hit yesterday, this 96 level, right? 796, that would be interesting to me. What I'm seeing here and what I think is going to happen is I think we have the possibility to go back and retest this line. Now, if we put these other indexes in so we can look at them and kind of see where you're falling, realistically, you probably get at least to the 8-day. So, for me, I have a very large, just going to put this caveat out there. I have a very large position in this for me. And I have it set up where I actually bought some puts against it because it's so big. But I do think it can go higher. But I think you're going to have to really watch this area in here. And for me, I think you could fade off the open. I really do. This market has all the feelings of a fade. You're not seeing a ton of buying here. You're seeing very meager buying. So this is not really what I would want to see in a market. especially in that name. So is it surprising XLU got hammered yesterday? No, not at all. So you have a tremendous amount of uncertainty out there, okay? XLU's been getting hammered, right? This is trading as if they're going to raise rates. And this is really part of what you're dealing with and part of the uncertainty that's going on out there. Nobody really knows what's going to happen, okay? And because nobody knows what's going to happen, there's a tremendous amount of get me out of anything. And I find it interesting that people think that they're going to raise rates in this environment. So let me give you an example. Here's energy, okay? Energy was going to run yesterday, right? I actually even started putting on energy trades. And looking at this, look what happens. We get right to this level, and what do? Okay? You kind of reject, right, where we've had this level before. So I'm not surprised by any of this, no. The fact that these rallied and then failed yesterday, now I have this on the financials. Now I have a bearish engulfing there. Like there is just, if you look yesterday, if you went through this yesterday to answer your XLU question, but to state why I'm so like standoffish to this market really goes no further than yesterday. These over here, and I'd recommend that everybody have this set up on their own profile. I don't care what system you use. Trent Spider probably get mad at me for saying that, but I really just don't care. So, but I would look at these every morning. And what I would tell you, go look at them yesterday. There wasn't a sector that was up. So I think people are just raising cash and saying, I want to see what happens with the debt ceiling. I want to see what happens with this infrastructure bill. Everything that we thought that was going to spur the economy does not look like it's going to spur the economy. And it's an issue. It's a real issue. So we're going to have to see how that plays out. But yeah, I think we're going to raise capital. I think that's the majority of, and by raise capital, meaning that people are saying we're going to raise our cash. Okay, that's what I mean when I say that. So that's what I think is going to happen here. That's just my opinion. So Planter, so just going to go through this really quickly. My bias is very short term right now. So for people that are trading, my bias is very short term. So I think you should be in a trade for a day or two, a couple days. There is nothing here that is telling you that you're at a bottom and that you should be buying massive amounts of stock. I'm not seeing anything remotely like that. If anything, I'm seeing the opposite. So you have the double reversal right here, right? So I call these double horns. And when you see this, you need to be worried. So you see when you're up like this, and this almost looks like a little face, or maybe it's just me. But when you have this kind of pattern right here, usually these are red. That's why I call them double horns. But when you see this, you come down and then you're in usually for like a nasty reversal. Okay. Our trade, we were in this thing and we just wound up getting at 28, got stopped at a 27. It's a great example of why you always use stops. It can always get worse than you think. Believe me, I've been around a long time. This could break. This could really break. And this is just starting to break. And listen to those words. You're just starting to break. You just broke the rising wedge line. Right? It just happened yesterday. That was day one. Not this little bar, this one. Okay. So people say they can pick up a lot by the inflection in my voice on certain things. And I'd probably be strong to do that. Probably be a good idea to do that today. So what you're seeing here is you could probably get to $22 on this. So this is not something I'd be rushing in to buy right here. Hey, Isaiah, good morning. Good morning, Dimitri, Tobias. Yep. And caught the bounce. Should I be looking to SC? Let's take a look. Congratulations on the shop trade. That's awesome. It really is. That's awesome. Congratulations. Yeah, I just didn't like I just didn't like your positioning. I would just tell you this, for your trade, and I don't think you're really here, but I think you're more, well, let's see where this goes. Right? So just FYI on that. See where you closed? Right? There's a lower trend line there. So if you break that lower low of that day, this probably continues to drop now for you. So congratulations. Just watch that you don't bounce off of this and then trade back up. So just for that in regards to shop, but awesome trade. Congrats again. So yeah, I mean, this is the kind of stock that can get absolutely crushed here. And I really think that that's something that you have to watch. Okay. And I know this isn't popular to have these kind of conversations. Everybody wants to hear about, we're going to run, everything's going to go up. So I'm not going to have that kind of conversation today. You know, one thing about this is I'm trying to be the voice of reason and not, you know, you got to buy all these stocks. So it's a little different, right? I'm just trying to tell you what I think you need to do in order to be successful. So, okay, see that wedge line? You broke it. Okay, that's your first sign. The fact that you held this is good. Okay, the low of this bar is 313. So you have a decision to make on this trade, right? So, and here's your decision, Daniel. This is how you have to look at it. Do I want to wait for it to break 13 and then go, or do I want to short it here? Now, if you decide that you want to short it here, you have to use 337 as a stop, or you have to use, right, the open of yesterday as a stop. So what I would say to you is I would probably put this on immediately, right? I would probably put this on while we're up. Okay, I might even do it if I really wanted to short this. I might even do it pre-market and sell pre-market because they might be the highs of the day. We just don't know, but it's possible, right? So as we're talking, we're just all watching these things fade over here, right? That's all we've been doing so far. We just keep watching this. We started up 1%, and now we've been dropping. So, and I'll just point that out for a moment so that people can understand what I'm talking about. So, these indicators, but this is where we opened and everybody was gleeful, right? 4 o'clock in the morning, everyone's all excited looking at futures. Okay, that's over. Okay, the pajama traders went back to bed. That's enough. And so the chances of us coming down here are pretty great. Okay, they're better than 50%, in my opinion. Now, anything can happen, but what does that mean? That means ideas like this that you want to short, okay, they're probably better shorts, now. And you can see how this acts off the open, right? How it acted last time. So they're probably better shorts now, and then assigning a dollar risk that you're willing to do. But I would probably just put the short on and not even think about it. And then just if I get stopped out, I get stopped out. That's how I would trade that, Daniel. You're welcome. It's funny you just said that. I just said that again in the video. It's exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be like, hey, this is what's going on. You can get all excited and jump around, and there's plenty of places that you can do that. But I'm more interested in preserving capital and making money. Good morning, Di. Hey, Nicholas. Morning, Justin. Yeah, let's do ZM. Sure. So for me, these kinds of names, you just have to sit and kind of watch. And, I think that, look, this was something that I actually put a trade on here in our community, and it didn't work. Okay. I thought we would go. This was the stop. That was the end of it. And I was annoyed that it didn't go. But I just want to point something out. That reversal, that break. So like when you use these levels, I can't stress this enough. This works on both sides. When you use the gap down and you use that bar, right, you can create a complete area on what's going to transpire just off that 1 day bar on the gap down. And let me explain the reason why I have everybody's attention. Okay, that's because it's after earnings and institutions are going to reposition themselves after earnings. So now you know their levels. And that's why it works. That's why when it usually breaks out, it usually goes. If it doesn't go, that means there's more behind it. And that's what happened. You really can't go near this. Would I short it down here? Probably not. This was something we said before that I was looking at these. We actually shorted P-ton on this. But, in regards to this 271, 272, like you're breaking. I mean, it's nothing to go to 232 now, right? Once it starts, it starts. This could drop another 100 points. You're trading up on expectations. When those expectations start to drop, that's not really where you want to be. So just keep that in mind. Okay. It's not something I would be buying. Good morning, buddy. Hey, Lorenzo. CCXI. So, yeah, I mean, that's definitely had a nice little curl and bounce from that low, right? And here's what I would point out with this. Getting above this 1884 is really what you wanted to see. And you had a doji yesterday right here, right? So you had a decision to make. So in other words, when you have a doji, think about it as, just remember this. When you see a doji like this, Lorenzo, your thought process is, this stock has a decision to make. Okay, so, and it made that decision. It went higher. So I would argue that that's pretty impressive considering yesterday. Let's just throw the volume in for a moment, see what we're dealing with. That's pretty good volume. Let's look at relative volume. Yeah. So I would see, I understand why you're paying attention to this. So here's how I would look at it. If I was not in this and I wanted to be in it, okay, I would go right here. Okay. And I would very simply just put an alert on that and go and create that alert. Okay. And go from there. Let me just click that, get it over with. So that's what I would use for my alert. Now, where can this go? You have a long way up. So this could go up. This can go pretty high, right? You can at least get up to here to $24 fairly quickly now. So this can continue to grind up and go. I don't know why it did this, but it can definitely continue to trade itself up. And it looks like that's what's been happening since $9, $10. It's just, grinding higher very slowly. So that probably can continue here. That's a really good idea. And candidly, Lorenzo, I'll be looking at that one today. This is what it is. Okay. And if energy continues to go up, this is going to continue to go up. Yesterday's move was huge. Today's not really what you want to see. That's not really the action that you'd want to see today, but you're seeing oil down across the board. So that's how this goes. And I'm going to save you a lot of time. As energy goes, this is going to go. Okay. It's really just that simple. So as energy goes, this is going to go. So just leave it at that and see how it does. All right. If you take out the high again, you'll probably see more buying at the 350 level, but you might base for a little bit here. So just, consider that. How concerned are you about the backup in bonds? Do you see as a transitory issue regarding the debt ceiling argument? Ross, the question, I'm assuming that means default. Ross, here's the larger issue. And this is I try to stay out of the politics of this because it's not against any party. It's against the party that's in, right? So the issue that you have is that they just look like they don't know what the heck they're doing. So they had a debt ceiling that you knew that was going to be out there for some time, right? It's not new news. They raised it 68 times. You had an infrastructure bill they've been trying to get through now for 10 months. Okay. And now they have this reconciliation bill and nothing's getting done. So it's the uncertainty that is concerning people. On top of that, the fact that they're not raising rates is concerning. And what's more concerning is that you're starting to see even the progressives starting to get on Jerome Powell. I don't know if you saw this yesterday or not with Elizabeth Warren, but they want him gone. And that's becoming increasingly clear. Why they want him gone, I think they're sick of what it's doing. My personal opinion is they have good intentions. I think they're sick of the inflation and what it's doing to the working class families simply to keep the stock market up, which means that bonds are going to sell off, asset prices are going to decline, right? So that's a real threat. And am I concerned about the backup in bonds? I gave you a long answer. The short answer is, yeah, I'm watching it extremely closely. I just haven't had that kind of dialogue because usually, Ross, I keep this to technical analysis on U.S. equities. But yes, I'm aware of it. Let's get back. Let me start rocking and rolling here. What would you regard the H formed on the indices could be disregarded? What would be required that the H formed in the indices could be disregarded? Nicholas, it's a great question. I addressed this a little bit this morning, but let's just talk about this for a minute. So to me, I know people are saying, oh, this is going to break or this hasn't broken yet. We're holding this level. I'm of the school of thought, I'm just going to be blunt. I'm of the school of thought, like on the Qs, that we broke. Now you have to fix. And maybe we do fix. Maybe we do get over this line today. But I'm not of the school of thought here that we need to hold this line. We broke the trend. So maybe we base, right, and then go higher. Maybe we base and then go lower. When you have an H like this, what needs to happen is you need at least one more day to develop and then possibly go higher off that day, and then you could have some trades. For me to say that this has the chance of being over, right? I'm going to use the Qs because that's the worst. And tech leads the market. Let's just call it what it is. We can make money off the casino stocks and stuff like that, but tech leads the market. It always will. Innovation always leads the market. Right now, that innovation just happens to be in technology. So what you're seeing here, right? You see that area? So now let's throw this in. Okay. So here's your 50-day, and here's your 21 coming down, and it's about to cross it. All right. What I need to have happen, the very first thing I need to do is to have one day where I'm just kind of sitting there like this and then go higher and then have a higher high on it. That's the very first thing you need to unconfirm this pattern. Then from there, I need to get back over this high, and then I need to get over the 50-day. Okay. In the meanwhile, you have to realize what's going to happen to this chart. While we're waiting for that to happen, this 21 is going to cross the 50. So while we may trade up, to me, it just means that that might be a spot where you may want to consider lightening up until we figure out exactly what's going on here. So Ford and X. So to me, let me just start on the easy one. Okay. To me, this is just an outright short. Okay. I don't know that I'd short it here. You possibly could. What I would wait for to short it now is just this line. Break that line and I would short it. Okay. My stop on the short would be here, the high of this bar. Okay. The chances of an infrastructure bill being passed that's $3.5 trillion right now is probably, in my opinion, zero. You might see like $1 trillion bill or something like that, but you're not going to see anywhere near, and it's going to be so watered down that it's just not going to have the effect on these names that people think it is. In regards to Ford, I like it a lot. I've been saying it for months. When it got close to this level and then reversed right here, that was it. And then he just went higher. Now you're forming a flag. I expect this to go. I've been pitching two things about this, left and right, even though I don't have it in the newsletter, just because it's a very slow mover. But any downside, I would be a buyer. This is a 22-year chart now, and we broke the trend line, and you're forming a flag. Here's your evening star. You're forming a flag. The important thing about this, as I've been saying, is that out of all EV makers, okay, they have the most pre-orders of all EVs combined. So if you combined all other EVs, okay, Ford Motor Company has more pre-orders than all of them combined. So just let that sink in for a moment. When you look at stocks like this, okay, that, we're trading up, right? Just think about that for a moment, right? And the valuation of this versus the valuation of something like this, right? It's just ridiculous. So just keep that in mind. That's my thought on it. I like Ford a lot. Yes, you need to flip those lines. And I just went through the whole Qs. I know I'm backed up here. Baba to me is a perma short. So I am biased. Any rally, I would short it. Hopefully I get another one of these, and then I would just short it. It's been a short since back here, since it broke down. And this is what it's been doing. I see no reason to even consider covering this. I said this before. In 5 years, I don't think Baba's on any New York Stock Exchange. I think that's completely delisted. I also feel that way about all the Chinese companies in the next 5 years, unless something drastically changes. because people are not going to buy these kinds of companies anymore. They're just not going to do it. Not after what happened with DIDI. Institutions just aren't going to do it. You can sell it. I wanted to have net long exposure coming into today, but you can just sell it. It's personal preference. To me, it's a much longer conversation, Boca. AEHR. So we went through this yesterday in the community, and what I was talking about was this, and it kind of did it, right? So this is the level I would be looking at. Let's get rid of this. So just real quick, this was the level I was talking about yesterday. I'm using the same level today. That's the low end of the bar of that daily. Right? So that's where I thought you might have a shot at it. It worked out. That's what I would use again. If it takes it down to, if it does, and the stuff that does it. I guess on which position. I don't know what I'm not following. Oh, you're explaining it. Yeah. That's pretty much it. Let's go. Let's just keep going. I'm way behind, I know. Let's just go key NTRON. So let's just start here. Key. Yeah, I mean, look, watch this level right here. I mean, that's where it just stopped, right? Look where it stopped. That one's easy. Whoops. Right here. This is what you're looking for. That level right there. See it? That's what you have to watch. I mean, it's pretty clean. I don't even need to do this, but I'll do it. I mean, that's where you're trying to get to. You broke out of this space and now you're ripping. Let's do on, because I know a lot of people watch this one. It's a double top right here. Okay. And if you break that low of this, that's probably it with the 21 day, right? You really don't want to break your 21 day here. Okay. You really don't. So just watch this. Hey, Samira. Clove? Yep. So there's not really much to say here. I know that this is on the list of names that are on Wall Street bets, and I know they're playing around with it. I don't see it. I mean, look, with them, who knows? Any day it could just spike up if it wanted to, or it could go back down to 3. I mean, I don't see any reason to be in this, frankly. Watch volume to determine when to be in that, right? If you use volume to determine when to be in that, that's probably the best thing you could do. This is a great example of why you need to have your level set and alarms go off. Look how that responded right to my level, right? This level's been in there. Look how it responded right to it. It bounced right off of it and closed up 12 points. So, you can use these levels and use like $1 or $2 stop and then just watch and see how they work. Works perfectly. What would I do with this now? This is broken. This is going to take a long time. You have to base, rebuild. This is a trade now until it rebuilds and goes forward. And usually when you get long bars like this, see these long bars, that usually means that you're going to base for a while and the trade's probably over. So I'm not saying you can't make money, but you have to think about it from a trading perspective. On that planner run, I was in the 20 from 8 cents. Yeah, that's great. You don't have options, so it's either sell or hold Tesla there. Yeah, I mean, that's what you have to do. You have to make that decision. Ford, I just went over. So SMH, AMD. Hey, Brian. So I would be a little concerned here. I'd be a little concerned here. Okay. So that is not what you want to see on an index, that you are below the 50-day moving average. That does not make anybody feel warm and fuzzy, right? I'd be really careful with semiconductors right now. Okay. I thought we were breaking out, and this is what we did yesterday. I bought this. Okay. And I wound up getting out yesterday. I have no problem getting out, especially after we sliced through the 50-day moving average. That, once you did that, that's it. I mean, to me, any rally on this now, and it's probably a short, if you rally up to this level, it's probably a short, right? This 50 and 21 crossing, it doesn't happen very often if you look at this. And when it does happen, you break down. Yes, you can go to the breakout bar again, and then maybe but it's substantial, right? It's still substantial. Yes, you broke above it here, but look what happened. That's what you're setting up for here, right? That's why I'm saying that you have to start changing your mentality a little bit to be more shorter term right now, okay? I'm not saying you can't trade its way back up to these levels or even get back to 107, but the days of this going back to 111 or 122, they're over after yesterday. That's not happening anytime soon, okay? And I'm comfortable stating that. Good morning, Utu. Look, Affirm, I have a really wide berth on my Affirm position, okay? And, on this position, and I've been in this all over the place. This was pretty clean when we rejected here, right? Once you broke that yesterday, that 121, that was pretty much it for those that don't want to try and stay in this long term. Once you broke that 121, that's it if you're not looking for this long term. So getting to this 115, holding that was big yesterday. Bidding up is big. Does it hold or not? I have no idea. I mean, what I would be doing is, and I've been saying, well, again, I don't know who's in the community, who's not, but what I've been saying is I would be in a position here where any rally of anything that I was not willing to be in long term or was down in, I would be using anything to sell on rallies, okay, to raise capital right now. That's how I feel. Yeah, I think you could short it here. I think you could short it right here, right now. I don't think I can be any clearer. I think that this is a really good risk versus reward trade, shorting it here versus going up to here. If this gets worse, this is going to really come in. Okay. So that's how I feel about it. The chances of all these stocks simply reversing and taking this out are pretty thin. Okay. Maybe. I don't see it that way. Could it happen? Sure. I just don't see what's going to get it there. We're not even oversold yet in the market. Morning, buddy. Can you cover Lucid? Bought puts at the close, not reaching Musk? Yeah, I think it can flush too. I think it's just starting to go back down. But you have to realize something about this. You're in an extremely crowded short, right? Like this is a really crowded short. Your short position really could have been put on. You see this right here? That's essentially like a gravestone doji. You could really have put it on here with that as your trigger. And then you're up, and then you kind of wait and see how it goes and see if you break above this. If not, you stay in the trade. I don't know what options you have. To me, I think it's broken. It definitely broke here, and it broke here, and now you have this. Look, right? So now I have a falling wedge inside what? Okay, so I don't like that at all, right? Like that's not appealing to me. So this could roll and get you back down to here. It's just a very crowded short, so any selling is led by buying. So let's just go here. I know I'm behind. Asan and Crowd. Yep, let's go through them. So Asan is one that could bounce, right? So this is one we have from the newsletter. We closed it, sadly. It had this pattern to it, and it's called the megaphone pattern. Here, let me show you it. So, and let's get rid of this. So, and what megaphone patterns do, let me just, is tells you that you're about to get volatile. See how you have a lower low, a higher high? So what that means is you're about to get volatile. And that's exactly what happened. You had a bearish engulfing here. and then you tried to break out, you failed the breakout, and then you came back, tested the 21-day. If this holds here and builds for a little bit, you have a trade here on the long side. It's just not there yet. You know, we're all going to have to see how the market does today. To me, could we bounce? Sure. I just don't think it's going to last very long. That's just my opinion. Crowd broke yesterday. I mean, there's really no other way to say it. Here's your downtrend line. Okay. Here's your level. You know, I mean, let me take a moment, and I know I have more questions, but let me just take a moment and point something out to people so people understand what's happening. Apple is below your 50-day moving average, and your 21-day is crossing. Okay. It's not getting better. It's getting worse. Microsoft is below your 50-day moving average on a long, nasty red bar down, right? Okay. Google is below your 50-day moving average. All right. Amazon below your 50-day moving average and looking to break your 200. Okay, this is not a warm and fuzzy market. So it makes sense that you're going to start seeing the second tier names like CrowdStrike start breaking down. This is what happens. And this can take a long time. But my hope was that we would flush out this morning and that would be the end of it. And it just doesn't seem like that's what we're going to do. So that raises my concern a little bit more. Hey, Terry, do I think you could short UPST? Yeah, here's your issue with UPST. Everybody wants to own it. So any major pullback is being bought. Now, for me, looking at it, I'm not buying it when it rallies up. I'm buying it when it breaks down. So when it breaks down and does a particular, some particular things, I'll definitely be looking at it. Now, that said, this is what you're dealing with now. Okay. So the rounding of the pattern has begun, right? You really didn't have a rounding here. You really didn't have a rounding here, did you? You have a rounding here. That's not really what you want to see. Usually you round, bounce up, and then just keep rounding. So that's not what you want to see. So can this go lower? Yeah. Could this go to the 21-day? Absolutely. There's no question about it. You're welcome, buddy. Net and you. Yeah, I mean, I would not be going anywhere near this. Like this was your rejection over and over again. We kept talking about it. Rejection, rejection. And then you broke the 21-day and now you're down. You broke the 50-day and now you're here. I mean, actually off the open yesterday, it was a short. So just keep that in mind. I mean, off the open yesterday, it was a short. And when you have a bar like this, where the high is the open and the low is the close, you need to watch yourself because that usually means there's more pain. I mean, you're having solid bars of selling here. So that's not really what you want to see. Yes, you could bounce up, but then you're probably going to roll back down. And that's kind of the point that I'm trying to get everybody to understand is, yes, we can bounce back up, but it doesn't mean that you're not going to roll back down, right? So that's what I'm saying. You want to be quick with your trades right now. Let's take a look at you. So that broke, right? But it didn't fully break yet. Here, look. You broke your 21-day, so that's not great. It's not something I'd be looking at, but okay. Here's one of your trend lines. Okay. And that's the more dominant trend line, right? Here's another trend line. Okay. You kind of broke that one, didn't you? So usually if I break one trend line, what does that mean? It means I go to the other trend line. Okay. So one of two things will happen here. I will either get back over where I'm supposed to be, or I will find out where I'm supposed to be and go here. Either way, that's what's going to happen here. Right. And that's how you have to look at it. So you're in no man's land. There's no reason to do anything there. Yeah, if that had options, Cobra, if that had options, that stock would probably be, $10 by now. There's no question about it. I mean, you have so many different kinds of people playing that name. And it makes sense. That name makes sense. Absolutely. So Affirm, I went over. Just you have to watch this area. If you're not looking long-term, you need to be selling the rips. Anna, I don't know if you heard. Yeah, you're welcome, buddy. Hey, Gail. So let's go through this, and let's go through WIN and LVS. So let's just start here. WIN. So with WIN, look, 86.77. Look at what's going on. I mean, look at what's happening. So to me, this is really the kind of stuff that you should be looking for in this kind of market, because it's already gotten annihilated. So it's really hard to get hurt. But I can't even get over this level. So how much do I really want to be in this? Probably not a lot, right? You see the level I'm talking about? This is without pre and post. See where I'm at? Like, I can't even get over that. Do I really want to be in this? Probably not till I get over that level. I'm watching these casino stocks very closely and looking for signs of a bottom, and I just don't have it yet. If you're looking at casino stocks that are just rocking, this was one that we did in the community, and then we had this little nonsense shake us out, then reverse here, right? Here's your fall, and then you reverse here off this morning star, and boom. So, and CZR here. Okay. You can see it. I mean, they're the names that just look. I'm not crazy about that, but they're the names that you have to look for. A firm I covered, hopefully you guys saw it, as Saba has peaked short. I just want to let you know that you're amazing. Thanks, Samira. I'm glad you learned a lot. That's the whole purpose of me doing it. That I'm having fun. So Saba, look, let's get rid of this level. Let's look at this level over here. Okay. So what you're doing is you're trying to find with these levels, you're trying to find areas of support and resistance. How do you determine that? By supply and demand. It's that simple. It's Econ 101, right? So what's happening here? Do I think that you could roll here again? Absolutely. Like, here's the issue. Once you're in a crowded short, once you're truly in that crowded short, which this is a crowded short now, you could go up for any reason. You could go up because somebody gets a margin call, right? All of a sudden, you're at someone else's beck and call, and that's what you have to watch. That's what you have to be careful about, okay? So would I short it here? Yeah, I mean, here's how I would play this, right? Here's how I would play this. I would wait to see where I get below something like this, and then this would be my stop. But you have a lot of gap risk here, so you just have to keep that in mind. But I do think it's a short. I think the way they came out and defended Sava, the way they came out and defended themselves was awful. It actually good time to lighten up long, help Apple, Google, raise some cash. I think if you're looking out a year or two, no. Like, I have these calls that are getting hit every single day that I'm still in here. And, I'm probably going to get hit again today with the news that came out. It's not really doing anything on it yet, but I still have calls on this for December, and I'm just going to hold them. I don't think they're going to go to zero, but maybe they do. But look, for me, you're hitting a point here where you're hitting a point of inflection, right? You're either going to bounce here and regain, or you're not. Either way, do I really want to be selling Apple? If I'm out looking at a year, probably not. Well, why am I saying that? Well, because even if you look at over the course from January right on, even if you look now, you're still up like 10% on it, right? So do you really want to be selling that and trying to buy it back? Same with Google. Like, to me, Google's just beginning to break. You could be in Google, right? Have it come all the way down to here, and I still wouldn't tell you to be out of the stock. Because trying to get back, once you're in and up in these, as long as I'm just going on the assumption that you're up a lot in these, going on the assumption that you're up a lot, do you really want the headache of trying to buy Google again? Like, how wacky it is to get up and stay up in it, right? Like, literally, it just defies everything. Like, here are your gap ups, and then they base for 3 months. Gaps up, bases for 3 months. You just don't know when it's going to move. It's a wonky trader. So you want it to get, you do want it to get hit to buy it. But if I was looking at a year or two, I would not be getting out of that. Grin. So yeah, I wouldn't go near this. We could throw these in. So I would not be going near this look. Okay. Not something I would do. Somehow I jumped again. Oh, here we are. APPS. Hey, Param. So caveat, I have a position in this. I do think that you could rally up here, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens today. I mean, here's the thing about this stock. Okay. How many stocks are above their 8-day moving average right now? Not many, right? So that's what I like about it. I like that. And I like this pattern. I think it could hold, but if it doesn't, I'll be the first to be out. So Micron, to me, what they came out and said was worse than what people thought they were going to say. They closed at 73. You're opening at 71. You never know how it goes with Micron. You think it's going to open down and go down, and then it spends the rest of the day going up. So you just don't know what you're going to get. So for me, I would be very cautious on doing anything with Micron today. I'd be really cautious being long semiconductors today. You can blow them out. It's not how I trade. Oh, you're welcome, Anna. I did cover Tesla already. Yes. I'll do it again real quick. I know a lot of people have a position in this. So, I threw out the caveat that, and look, we already came back down. Is that accurate? So let me just see here. Yeah. So, I mean, what I was getting at this morning was any of these bidding up. I just don't look, I'm not going to be pull punches here. I don't believe any of this bidding up like at all. And we'll have to see how this all plays out, but I'm just not buying it. So, that's the very first thing I would say. I just don't get it. And I mean, look, this is what you're doing in the market. Okay. So there's a reason why I bought puts yesterday. And, I'm trying to get to the point here. And I guess the easiest way to do is just to kind of show you what I'm thinking. Like, see how all this stuff it just can't rally, right? So what does that mean for Tesla? Well, Tesla is the 800-pound gorilla, right? It's the 800-pound gorilla in the room. Okay. We all know that, right? So I like the pattern here, but that doesn't mean that it's going to work. So you just have to be really cautious. I would not be a buyer of Tesla here. If I was in Tesla, I would stay in it and monitor my position. If I was uncomfortable with this market, I would be selling Tesla on any rip higher. The chances of us getting over 800 today, to me, are pretty slim. Now, whether it happens or doesn't happen, who knows? But I have to play the probabilities. And the probabilities are that this is broken enough to come back down to the 8-day. And I want to point something out. You're not below the 8-day moving average. I showed you Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon. They're all below the 8, the 21, the 50, and heading to the 200. This is not. Okay. What does that tell you? This is the one to be playing on the long side. So let's go. I hope that's helpful. Yeah, I think it's really hard to be short that just because of the gap risk. You come out one day. I do. Marty, I wouldn't be long. I was long AMD. I got stopped out yesterday. I took a loss. And that's one thing that people need to understand. Like, even people that have been trading for a very long time, like myself, we have losing days. Yesterday was a losing day for me. I'm just used to it, but it is what it is. So you're better off having a small losing day than having a large losing day, right? Or a losing week. So just keep that in mind. You're welcome, buddy. Not up a lot in Microsoft. If I was not up a lot in Microsoft, I'd blow it out. If I was not up a lot in Microsoft right now, I'd blow it out into this figures. Until you figure out what's exactly going on here, I would be out of Microsoft, right? Like, it's very hard for me to tell you that if you're not up big in a name, that you need to be holding it when it's under the 50-day moving average like this, right? Does this look like a chart? Like, if that was any other stock but Microsoft, right? And I'm going to have to go here in about 2 minutes. I'll stay a little longer since I started late. But you see that? Bonk, 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 right? Now you have this line right here. I mean, is that what you want? So, Marty, did you see that? Did you see all the ships that are in California? There's like 80 ships that can't come into the harbor for some reason. So, Amazon, yeah. If you're not up much in it, buy. Just get out of it. NVAX, FNGU. NVAX. So in regards to NVAX, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be going near this. I'd be really careful with these. I think there's something brewing here. This was one we shorted the other day. I shorted this one Monday. I'd be really careful here. Really careful. To me, they're telegraphing something's coming. So that's just how I'm viewing it. But I could be wrong. But that's just how I see it. I think that they're going to get hit. So, all right, FNGU and RKLB. I can ask about that RKLB a lot. So FNGU, there's not much to say here. It's going to trade like the market. I just showed you every single stock that's in here. Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, everyone except Netflix is below the 50-day moving average. So I would not be a buyer. Is that what's churn? Is that what's doing it in California? That they have a trucker labor shortage? Is that the issue? So I'm not really that up on it. Let's see, I got options that are going to expire. Here we go. All right. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be chasing this. Could this go? Sure. Absolutely could go. I mean, look, this is something that, like, you have to understand this. This is something that is being manipulated. Okay. I don't know anything about the company, but when you see this kind of stuff, it's very clear what's going on, right? This straight up is not a stock pattern, right? It's manipulation. It's people that are short, people finding out that they're short, finding out who they are and squeezing them. Happens all the time. It's been happening for years. Okay, is that what it is? I don't watch TV, so I just read the news. Nationwide labor shortage of truckers, California's biggest port. Yeah, it is. It's the biggest port for China, 20% or something like that, right? For China. That's interesting. All right, everybody, I got to go here. Time to get paid. Have a great day.